There are good paying entry-level jobs with strong benefits that you probably can qualify for, but most people don't even try. A lot of corporate jobs have been criticized because when you read the job description, you find out that they're entry-level jobs. It requires a master's degree or it requires 5 years of experience. That sounds more mid-career to me. And then comes the issue of how much should you be expecting in your paycheck? And what does entry-level even mean? We can't agree on a definition because depending on what website you visit, it has a whole different understanding of what entry level is. But if you look on Webster Dictionary defines it as somebody who is just starting a job or career. In the federal government, we can look at this 2 different ways. The first way, you have somebody who finishes high school. They get their high school diploma or their GED and they're ready to jump into the workforce. They're looking for a job. Another way to look at it is somebody who actually went to college. They're in university or they recently graduated, so they have the degree in hand and now they're looking to join the workforce. Let's look at the first category, somebody coming out of high school. These type of people, they think they don't have experience. Most of the time when I have a conversation with them, they actually have experience. This is either minimum wage experience, volunteering, or doing some sort of side hustle, entrepreneurial type efforts. All that experience, it counts in the federal government. It should be in your resume. You should have a section where you're dedicating the hours that you spent doing that activity so you can get full credit for your experience. Okay, so let's say a person has a high school diploma and they have 6 months of experience. What type of salary is the expectation in the public sector with a federal government job? Well, you're probably looking at $30,000 to $57,000 a year. On the GS pay chart, that would be GS2 to GS6. About 70% of all federal government jobs, they are on the GS pay scale. There's 15 grades, there's 10 steps. You can negotiate the step once you get your job offer. You can never negotiate your actual GS grade. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these positions. On usajobs.gov, we can see that this is a security guard position in the Indian Health Service. This job has a salary range of $34,000 to $45,000 a year at the GS2 through GS4 grade. This job here is in Minnesota. You're basically going to be doing patrols, making sure the building is safe, making sure the people are safe. This is a typical security guard position. You can find dozens just like it. It's in the 0085 job series. The requirement at the lower GS2 grade, only 3 months of general experience. And for the GS3 or 4, you're going to need 6 months of general experience. The general experience is either administrative, technical, clerical, military, or other type of work. This type of job is not requiring you to carry a firearm. You do not have to go to some faraway academy in order to be qualified for this job. But what they will require is a background check. They're going to look at your criminal history and your credit check. They're going to be looking at your financial history. The next entry-level job is a secretary in the Department of Agriculture with a salary of $39,000 to $70,000 a year. This is between GS5 and GS8. This one's in Oklahoma, and who wants to go there? No, I'm just kidding. I've never been. So this job, they start you out as a GS5. That means you're going to have to show 12 months of experience in administrative or a clerical type assignment. You need to show that on your resume. This job is also, essentially, you are going to be an executive assistant. You're going to be assisting the executive. You're going to be managing correspondence. So it's going to be important that you know SharePoint and Microsoft Office. This is the experience you need. You can see they also want you to have a knowledge of grammar and the ability to prepare correspondence. Correspondence is the government's way of saying email. So anytime you hear managing correspondence, just imagine yourself looking through Outlook and putting emails in certain folders. That's basically what it is. The next entry-level job is as a park guide in the National Park Service with a salary of $35,000 to $43,000 a year at the GS3 grade. This job is in Tennessee, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner, there's a yellow box. It says it's open to the first 100 applicants. That means that if you're number 101, they're not going to consider you. The way this typically works is the job announcement is posted, and then if 100 people apply to it, they will close that job announcement at midnight. So it might be 9 p.m. and over 100 people have already applied. That doesn't mean you're going to be considered. They're only going to look at the first 100 people. A lot of people are confused on why agencies do this. The first thought that comes through a lot of people's mind is, well, they must have someone in mind. They're trying to hire from the inside. That's not necessarily true. Agencies do this because they know they will be overwhelmed with applications if they leave this open for a week. Let's say if they leave it open for 2 days, they get 100 people, right? But if you leave it open for a week, you have over 1,000 people. And they don't want to fish through 1,000 different job applications. So they're just trying to keep it manageable so they can hire quicker. You will need 6 months of general experience to be eligible for this job. The person hired for this job, they're going to be collecting tolls. They're going to be answering questions of the public. And there's people that I talk to, they love this component of the job. They love interacting with the public. It makes them feel that their work is meaningful. Even though it's lower paid, they derive some sense of enjoyment from actually interacting with others. Now let's shift focus on the person who's in university. They're about to graduate or they've already graduated. There's 2 paths here. The first one is the student hiring path. This means you're currently enrolled in a full-time or part-time educational program. And it has to be a qualifying, accredited learning institute. It just can't be anywhere. And the next option is for people who have graduated within the last 2 years from a certificate, an associate degree, a bachelor degree, a master's degree. It doesn't really matter. As long as you complete a program within the next 24 months, you can use this path. Now, if you're a veteran, that extends further. But for everyone else, it's 2 years. For internships, let's take a look at usajobs.gov, and we can see there's close to 200 different types of internships for current students, and for recent graduates, there's 121 jobs here. For internships, the federal government, they made a shift because there were a lot that were unpaid. But the current administration, they want to pay everybody for taking part of an internship. So you're going to see on here a lot more internships that are actually paying the students. Here's one in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Department of Defense, working in operations research. This is a paid internship. You'll be earning $17 to $21 an hour. Let's go ahead and look at the requirements. You need to be enrolled as a full-time or half-time student. You need to have at least a 2.5 GPA. You also need to be graduating within the next year. So this has to be your final year of school. You also need to make sure that you're uploading your transcript. Otherwise, you're not going to get credit for this. And another thing is, it doesn't really matter what degree that you're pursuing, but the government has its preferences for this job. And we can see that's operations research, data science, and mathematics. All right, let's take a look at a recent graduate position. We see a human resource specialist in the Department of Air Force. This one has a salary from $54,000 to $104,000 a year. The GS grade is from GS7 to GS11. To qualify for this job, you need 1 year of graduate level education, or you need to have earned your bachelor's with superior academic achievement, which is usually either a 3.0 GPA or a 3.5 GPA. The experience you need for this job is the knowledge of basic principles and concepts used in HR management and the ability to gather and analyze facts. This is the type of position most people take when they're trying to make a shift, when they're trying to make a career pivot and do something completely different. People are surprised that they might have an HR background in corporate America or the military, and they try to apply that same experience in the government, and it doesn't go so well because the federal government has its own way of conducting their HR operations. They have their own policies and regulations. So oftentimes people have to kind of start at the bottom. The highest I've seen somebody who went from the 0-300 job series, they jumped into HR and they were able to jump in at GS11. More times than not, you're looking at GS5, 6, and 7 though. Another great thing about this position is it's using a promotional ladder. So every 12 months you would be eligible for a promotion. You would not have to apply for your promotion like a lot of federal employees have to do. But I want to stress to you right now that even if you have 3 or 4 years of experience, you should not be looking at entry level. So you need to value your experience appropriately and look at the job landscape. Where are you located? Can you move? What's available? What matches your experience? The first step to doing that is looking at the OPM Job Series Handbook, and you're going to be able to see where your experience and their requirements, where they have an overlap. Also, once you get hired, you're under probation. This is usually 12 months. During those 12 months, you are an at-will employee, meaning that if you have misconduct, if you're not performing to standard, they don't need a reason. They can show you to the door at any time. Usually it's 12 months. Sometimes it's 24 months. Depends on the position. You can find that information in the job announcement many times. If not, when you get the job offer, HR can tell you exactly what you should be expecting when it comes to your probationary period. If you're new to the entire federal hiring process, you should know what exactly occurs from when you apply, when you get referred, when you get invited to the interview and accept the job offer. All of those steps. If you're interested in that, I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.